Hey everyone. So in this video, I am going to take a little bit of time to show you the best way to sort of how to find your way around in the course and the best way to um, approach each module every week, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna actually look at Brightspace together, okay? So let me do this. Okay, so here we are on our course homepage. So when you go to Brightspace and you choose this course, English 111, this is the first thing you see once you click on our class. You'll see some important things over here on the right-hand side, any updates that I've added, and then this is a pretty important one, due date calendar. So this will list items that are due and then upcoming items as well. All right, so you can see attendance quiz, syllabus, journal 1, week 1, assignment 1. This is the discussion, right? So a lot of useful information here on the right side. Also useful information over here on the left side. This is where you will find the weekly announcements, okay? This week, week 1 is a little lengthier because there's just a lot of information to give you. Video is not there yet, but you'll see it once you come to our, by the time you have gotten here, you'll see a video here where I've just given you sort of a verbal explanation of everything you see written here in the announcement. This announcement will change every week. You'll still be able to see previous week's announcements underneath, but each week a new announcement will appear here at the top. That announcement will contain a video where I just sort of give you an overview of what's in store for that week, okay? The same information will be provided in written form as well in the announcement, but every week you'll see an outline like this that tells you exactly what lessons you have to go through that week and what homework is going to be assigned for that week. That's kind of useful. But we're going to go into the content of the course, okay? And if you're watching this video, that means that you clicked on getting started. Maybe you looked at the course introduction. Maybe you looked at meet your instructor. Some important information down here, though, is my contact information. This is my personal cell phone number. Obviously, I would prefer that you only use it when you really need to get in touch with me or ask me a super important question. I mean, I'm not at the computer all the time, so you can use my cell phone if necessary. Texting is probably the best way to get in touch with me, though. Right now, we're in this area right here on how to find your way around. Oh, whoops. This section right here is next. It's on attendance and weekly deadlines. I highly suggest, especially if this is your first online course, that you go ahead and watch that video. At the very least, down here at the bottom is a little chart that shows you the dates for each week. So the date that week 1 begins, the day you need to have your attendance quiz submitted by, and the day that your homework is due when the week closes. So this can kind of help you plan ahead if needed because you see the actual dates of everything. The syllabus is also listed here under the Getting Started section. And then there are also some instructions for using Google Docs. This can be really handy if you don't have access to Microsoft Word because there are a couple of assignments. There's quite a few assignments that say to use Microsoft Word, that you need to submit a file. We can work around that, but there are 2 formally graded items in weeks 6 and 7, your writing assignment paragraphs, that do require you to submit in some sort of formal document. So in Google Docs can be really handy for that if you don't have access to Microsoft Word. It's free, and each one of these steps also has a YouTube video that explains what to do. But for the rest of this video, I want to focus on the rest of these items right here, the weekly modules. So every week when you come to the course and you click on content, you're going to go to that week's module. So we're going to start with week 1 module. Now, I have the instructor view, and even when I put myself in student mode, it still doesn't show me exactly what you see as a student. When you click on week 1 module, or any week for that matter, the only thing you're going to see at first is the attendance quiz. Hold on for 1 second. Okay, sorry. The only thing you'll see at first is the attendance quiz. That's because you have to submit the attendance quiz first in order to get access to everything else in that module. I explain the attendance quizzes in more detail in that section on attendance and weekly deadlines up here in Getting Started. So if you aren't familiar with the attendance quizzes, you should have them in other online courses, but if by chance you're not familiar with them, go back to that section on attendance and weekly deadlines and I explain them a little more thoroughly. It says quiz, but it doesn't get counted in your grade or anything like that. You just have to do it in order to access the work that week. So when you click on the module though, you're going to see over here on this side, instructions for week 1. And then a little blurb here from me, and then an outline of what you have to do for week 1. This outline is the exact same outline that's on the week 1 announcement on the course homepage. They're exactly the same. What you'll also see is that the order of items on the outline match up exactly to these subtabs over here under week 1 module. So the first item on the outline for week 1 is to take the attendance quiz. Okay, the attendance quiz is the first subtab over here under week 1 module. The next item on the outline is the syllabus review. Oh, hey, that's the next item over here as well. Then a video and handout on weekly journals. That's the next item over here as well. Then APA format basics. That's next over here. It matches up exactly. Everything that's listed under the week 1 module, all the way until you get to here, all of this stuff are the lessons for the week. The very last subtab in each week's module will be the homework assignments for that week. They're all listed right there together. Doesn't matter what type of assignment it is, it will be listed under the weekly homework assignments subtab. That is a nice way for you to see in one spot every item that you have to submit that week. Okay, so what you want to do is sort of see these modules as what we would do if we were doing this class on campus. If we came in on the first day of class, the first thing we'd do is we'd probably do some brief introductions, but since this is an online class, we're going to do that in our week 1 discussion instead. But the first sort of business item that we would take care of in the classroom would be the syllabus review. We would go over that together. The next thing I would do is I would explain the weekly journals to you. Then we would get into our first lesson, right? Our first lesson on APA format basics. Then our next lesson on using sources and avoiding plagiarism. These 2 lessons are optional for you on reference entries and citations. So I would probably just give you those PowerPoints and say, this is just for your benefit. Use them however you see fit. Just like I have made these lessons optional here online. It's just there for your benefit. You do not need to know about reference entries or citations for this class. You do need to know about APA basics and using sources and avoiding plagiarism, right? But these 2 are optional. But I would tell you that in class and give you some resources that you can take home and use on your own if needed. And then I would assign the homework. Some of these items under homework assignments, maybe we would have done together during class, but obviously we're online. So I'm not going to put any of these up here, like the syllabus acknowledgement. We would have completed that up here when we went over the syllabus together. But I'm not going to put that online assignment up here in this section because I just think it's easier if everything is grouped together in one location. So the syllabus acknowledgement is something that we would do in class together. The next item for homework is just what you need to read for this week. And when I say read, I use that word very loosely. It's really just kind of a review, okay? Just to skim it. It goes along with the lessons that I've already provided for you in the module. Journal 1, we would have done together in the class, right? But I'm not going to put it up there. It's going to be located here with all the other items you have to submit this week. Then week 1, assignment 1. The last item in the homework assignment section each week will be that week's discussion. It is best if you go through the lessons first before you try to do the homework each week. But the one item that you can do at any point during the week is the discussion. The discussion is not based on anything that we're covering in a module, any lessons. So you can do that at any point during the week. The other assignments each week, it's probably best if you go through the module first, go through the lessons first, because you have to learn the skills needed to complete the assignment that week. And so it's best to think of it that way. You know, everything in this module is what we would do together in class. And then I would give you a homework assignment for you to go home and practice those skills. But you need to learn the skills first before you attempt the homework assignments. Okay, so if you can keep that in mind, this is what we would cover in class together. This is what you would have for homework for the most part. Then it can help you figure out how to approach each module. Okay, I know I just need to go through these lessons in the order she has been listed and then do the homework assignments. It is going to seem like a lot of work. However, if we go up here to the syllabus, and you'll hear me say this again, this class right here is supposed to be a 40 lecture hour class, right? So spread out over our 10 weeks of coursework. The 11th week is just your finals week. That doesn't get included in. 40 hours spread over 10 weeks of lessons. That's 4 hours a week that you would spend in class with me. This class also requires 40 hours total of out of class work. 40 hours, it keeps highlighting the whole thing. 40 hours spread over the 10 weeks is another 4 hours each week. So this class is required to be 8 hours a week of work. That is not, I did not come up with that number. Okay, it is what it is. But that's 8 hours a week you should anticipate spending on this course. Some of that 8 hours will be going through these lessons each week, watching the videos and looking at the PowerPoints. Another portion of that 8 hours will be spent doing the actual homework items that need to be submitted. All in all, that's what you should anticipate each week. Roughly 8 hours of time spent on this class. If you can look at each module and say to yourself, these are the things that we would have done in the classroom together, but now I have to do them on my own. And these are the items that I would have for homework that week. It helps make sense of why you're spending so much time on this class. Because the 4 hours you would normally spend in the classroom with me, you now have to do at home. I'm still giving you the videos where I'm teaching the material and going over the PowerPoint with you, but you still have to find time to watch that video and go through the PowerPoint on your own. It's not easy to do all of that on your own. I know that. But at least if you can think of it like that, it will at least make sense why you're doing so much for this course each week. It's because it's supposed to be 8 hours of work each week. 8 hours of time each week. And again, that's not my call. I did not come up with that amount of time. I am simply supposed to make sure that you are given that much material each week. I do try to be lenient with due dates because I know you have a lot of other stuff going on. Other hard classes, life, jobs, kids, families, I get it. I try to be as understanding and lenient with late work as possible. The one thing that I can't be lenient with, though, are the weekly discussions. Please make sure you keep up with those each week. But just keep all of this in mind, that there is a reason why there's so much work. This class is always an online class also, so I've tried to streamline it as much as possible, but it still has to be 8 hours of time, 8 hours of work each week. But if you know where to go each week, and every week is going to look exactly the same. I can show you week 2 right now, even though you can't look at it yet. You don't even have access to the attendance quiz yet, but I can show you. Week 2 module, here's the outline. It'll be the same outline that's on the week 2 announcement on the course homepage. Everything still matches up, right? A review of week 1, an introduction to writing, the writing process, and then your homework. So if you can go through this and think, okay, if we were in the classroom together, we would review what we did the previous week. She'd go through this lesson with us. She'd go through this lesson with us. And then we'd have these homework assignments. You can kind of see how I have organized each week. I also highly suggest that you always come to the homework assignments sub-tab each week to see what you need to actually submit. There are some options over here under course tools. You can go to discussions, and that will show you just the discussions that you have access to at that time. The quiz area will show you all of the quizzes that you have access to at that time. The only quizzes that we have are the attendance quizzes, though. The assignments tab will show you all the assignments that you have access to at that point. But the discussions don't show up under the assignments. So it's really easy to think that you're doing if we come here to assignments, it's really easy to think that, you have done everything you need to do. But the discussions don't show up there, right? Which is why I have tried to put all the assignments for each week in one common location under the homework assignments sub-tab. And there you can see them all, right? Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of how to find your way around in this course. If you just come to each module, take the attendance quiz for that week, then you're going to see all the lessons, and you'll know that these are what we would have covered in class together. And then these are your homework assignments, all of your homework assignments. Whether it be something we would have done in class together, whether it's a discussion, it's all going to be right here. All right, so I hope it helps to see how each week is laid out for you, how to sort of approach the work each week, to think about it in terms of, this is what I would have done in the classroom, this is what I would have had to do at home. It's tough that you have to do it all at home, but it's possible. Just try to work it into your week whenever you can. There's nothing that says you have to sit down and spend 8 hours straight on this class. Do a little bit here and there throughout the week. If you start to fall behind, please keep in mind that the one thing you want to keep up with every week is the discussion. If you need extra time on other assignments, just let me know, okay? All right, so again, I hope all this helps. If you have any questions about where to find things, how to, go through everything each week, any other helpful tips that I might have that I can't think of right now, just anything at all. If there's any way I can be of help, do not hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, you guys are free to go ahead and move on.